Welcome back. This is Seed Soil Water. I'm Brittany Sunshyne, and we are going through How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's a whole playlist. Save the playlist. Go back to the beginning and start from the first video if you would like. And we are starting part 2 today, right now. So let's dive in. Stepping toward your new destiny. Doesn't that sound wonderful? And quite frankly, it was probably your destiny all along, but you had to get here to get there. The meditative process, introduction and preparation. Woo, this is where it's going to get good. But hey, by the way, definitely if you haven't gone through the first part 1, go back and watch all of that because there's a lot of value in it. It actually lays the groundwork about the science behind all of this and why it matters. As I stated earlier, the main purpose of meditating is to remove your attention from the environment, from your body, and from the passage of time so that what you intend, what you think, becomes your focus instead of all of these externals. You can then change your internal state independent of the outside world. Meditating is also a means for you to move beyond your analytical mind so that you can access your subconscious mind. That is crucial since the subconscious is where all of your bad habits and behaviors and thoughts that you want to change reside. This is so crucial too, because how many of us know somebody who's like, oh, it's not really my personality to be like that. My personality is I am analytical. I am so aware of the 3D. And then there's those of us who are like, hey, spiritual. I'm so into the spirit. I barely notice there's a 3D. And so that can be problematic as well. It's all about the balance. But the point is, everybody has equal access to move beyond your analytical mind so that we can go into the subconscious and rewrite the program. And it should be done by everybody. Just because your personality bend might be toward being a more analytical person does not mean that you don't have the capability, or the access to this information and to this application of life-changing amazingness. Okay, introduction. All the information you have received up to this point has been intended to help you understand what you will be doing in this section as you learn how to use the meditative process to create a new reality. Once you comprehend and repeatedly execute the how-to steps that are presented here, you can then work on anything that you want to change in your life. Remind yourself often that in taking the steps to change, you are pruning away the habit of being yourself so that you can create a new mind for your new future. When I do the process you are about to learn, I want to lose myself in consciousness, disassociate from my known reality, and be devoid of the thoughts and feelings that define me as the old self. In the beginning, the newness of the task you are undertaking might cause you to feel unsettled or uncomfortable. That's okay. It's just your body, which has become your mind, resisting the new training process. Understand this before you initiate your discipline and relax. Each step is designed to be easy to understand and simple to follow. Personally, I look forward to my meditation practice as much as anything I do. I find such order, peace, clarity, and inspiration that I rarely miss a day. It took some time for me to arrive at this relationship, so please be patient with yourself. Real talk. I can so relate to this. When I really started making this a part of my practice, it became so effective, and I watched things significantly change for the better, that then I kind of got lax with it. And I was like, well, I don't really need to because everything is so good. And I just kind of got lazy with it. And then it's crazy because being lazy with it then it made things not continue to progress in the way and the rate and the direction that I wanted them to. And so it was like, wow, it's that noticeable in my life that I must remember, to continue doing this. And also just to do it when my old self and my fear from trauma and whatever wants to creep in and take over. Okay, turning small steps into one easy habit. Whenever you've learned anything new that required your full attention and committed practice, you probably followed specific steps during your initial instruction. This makes it easier to break down the complexities of the skill or task at hand so that the mind can stay focused without being overwhelmed. In any endeavor, of course, your goal is to memorize what you're learning so that eventually you can do it naturally, effortlessly, and subconsciously. Essentially, you want to make this new skill a habit. It's easier to comprehend and execute any new skill when by repetition. You master one small task or procedure at a time and then move on to the next. Over time, you string each step together as part of one coordinated process. The sign that you're on your way is when all the steps start to look like one easy, fluid motion and you produce the intended result. That's your aim in learning this meditation as a step-by-step process. For example, in learning to hit a golf ball, there are a host of cues that your mind has to process in order to have your actions match your intention. Imagine that while you're preparing to tee off for the first time, your best friend shouts, "Keep your head down, bend your knees, shoulders square, and back erect. Keep your front arm straight, but loosen your grip. Shift your weight when you swing, hit behind the ball and follow through." And my favorite, relax. All these instructions at once could throw you into a state of paralysis. What if instead you worked on one thing at a time, following a methodical order? In time, it seems logical that your swing would look like one motion. Similarly, if you were learning to cook a French recipe, you would start by following its individual steps. Do that enough times, and there would come a moment when you no longer would prepare the recipe as separate steps, but as one continuous process. You would integrate the instructions into your body mind, merge many steps into just a few, and eventually cook the meal in half the time. You'd go from thinking to doing. Your body memorizes what you were doing as well as your mind. That's what a procedural memory is. This phenomenon occurs when you do anything long enough. You begin to know that you know how. Building a neural network for meditation. This is key, building. So that means like this is something that if it's new to you, don't just assume that it's there, you're going to build it, but it's worth building. Once you've built it, then it's built, okay? Remember that the more knowledge you have, the better prepared you are for a new experience. Remember, the more knowledge you have, like about whatever the thing is, the better prepared you are for a new experience. Every meditation step you practice will have a meaning to you based on what you learned earlier in this book. Each one is based on a scientific or a philosophical understanding, so that nothing is left to conjecture. The steps are presented in a specific order designed to help you memorize this process for personal change. Although I have mapped out a suggested 4-week program for you to learn the entire process, please take as much time as you need to practice each step until it becomes familiar. The best pace to set is one that is comfortable so that you never feel overwhelmed. You will begin every session by doing the previous steps you learned, then practice the new material for that week. Because it's more effective to learn some steps together, some weeks will call for you to practice 2 or more new steps. Also, I recommend that you practice each new mindful step or group of steps for at least 1 week before you move on to the next ones. In a few weeks, you'll build quite a neural network for meditation. This is exciting. So here's his suggested 4-week program. And I have an idea that I think I want to take this idea and put it into with my own spin on it for the Seed Soil Water Spa sister channel, which is the meditation, visualization, audio spa channel that I have. If you haven't been there, go check it out and subscribe. So originally my idea was to take his framework and put my own spin on it and create some meditations over there. So we'll see how it works out, but that was my intention. So every day we're going to do step 1, which is the induction. So week 1, chapter 10, every day doing that. Week 2, chapter 11, start every daily session by once again doing the induction, then adding step 2, which is recognizing, step 3, admitting and declaring, step 4, surrendering. Okay, that's week 2. Now, week 3 is start every daily session by practicing the induction, the recognizing, admitting, declaring, and surrendering, and then adding step 5, which is observing and reminding, and step 6, redirecting. Then week 4, which is chapter 13, we're going to start every daily session by doing induction, recognizing, admitting, declaring, surrendering, observing and reminding, redirecting, and then we're going to add step 7, which is creating and rehearsing. He says, please take your time and build a strong foundation. If you are already an experienced meditator and want to do more at once, that's fine. But work at following all the instructions and committing what you will be doing to memory. When you can concentrate on what you're doing without letting your thoughts wander to any extraneous stimuli, you will come to a point where your body actually aligns with your mind. Now your new skill will become easier and easier to do. Thanks to Hebb's law of firing and wiring, the ingredients of learning, attention, instruction, and practice will develop an associated neural network to reflect your intentions. Okay, so preparation. He's going to tell us what to do. Preparing your tools, the right stuff with WRITE, play on words. Separately from your meditation sessions, you will read some descriptive text about each step, often accompanied by questions and prompts under the heading, which is titled Opportunity to Write. I recommend that you keep a notebook handy to write down your answers, then review your responses before you go into each day's meditation. That way, your written thoughts will serve as a roadmap to prepare you to navigate through the meditative procedures in which you will access the operating system of your subconscious mind. And yeah, real quick, writing is so powerful. I can't tell you why. I don't know exactly like what it is scientifically about writing, but there is something so powerful about writing things down. And in the Bible, in Habakkuk 2:2, I think it says, write the vision and make it plain so that those who read it may run it well. And in my opinion, those who read it, A, is ourselves, B, which ourselves, subconscious mind, programming, declaring to the atmosphere, and then B, the electrons that pull everything together into being. All of creation is waiting for the revelation of the sons and the daughters to know who the bleep they are. Okay, that was a very sacrilegious remix from me. I apologize in advance to anybody that I offended. But the point is, all of creation is awaiting for us to write this down and declare it to the atmosphere and then magnetize it with our belief and surrender. Surrender is a key part of all this because surrender is what happens when you really actually believe it is so. Surrender separates just from the desire and surrender. It is an exemplary shift from I wish it were so to like I know it is so I can like let it go. I'm not worried about it anymore because it is so. Like I don't have to worry about it. And even if it's not so, something better is, and therefore I'm still surrendered. I can surrender it. So writing is so powerful. What are they going to say about this? I can't remember. So that's it. Listen up. When you are first learning the meditation steps, you may want to listen to pre-recorded guided sessions. Hello, welcome to Seed, Soil, Water, Spa. For example, you will learn an induction technique that you will use in every one of your daily sessions to help you reach the highly coherent alpha brain wave state in preparation for the approach. That is the focus of chapters 11 to 13. In addition, the steps you are to learn each week are available for you to follow in a series of guided meditations. That's what I was going to say. I've bought this book probably 5 times. I've bought it for myself. Then it got lost moving, so I bought it again. Then I bought it for friends and family. So for the record, I've bought this book many a times, and I think you should too. And let's all support Dr. Joe because this information is gold. And I also wanted to share it here because this information is gold. 2 approaches to the meditation. Option 1 is that whenever you see the headphone icon that there's a guided induction or meditation available. So you can go you can go and get his version of this at drjoedispenza.com, play them in MP3 format or burn them onto a CD. And by the way, since this is available, it's like maybe I won't create my own ones. But then again, maybe I will, because I believe that there's power in sound and voice. And I know that this is part of my thing, is to do this stuff. And also I want to match it up with the frequency. So like the hertz, like let's say 528 or 432, whatever one I feel led to connect it with to underpin the mission. So different frequencies help support different transformation things, physics stuff. Okay. So I intend to create them with all of that in mind, according to the revelation that I'm given. So, but I just want you to know too, you can go to www.drjoedispenza.com and find these there if you want to take it directly from him. After you read each chapter, then journal your responses in a notebook. You can download the corresponding meditation each week. As you add the next step or steps to those you practiced the previous week, you can find the next related meditation available for download. They will be listed as week 1, week 2, week 3. Okay. So I feel like we are very clear. He is extremely clear on this whole thing. The other option is that there are scripts for these, and you can read them until you memorize them or dictate them into a responding recording device. See, look, he even gave us permission to dictate them into a recording device, which I am going to do very likely for you. Appendices A and B provide 2 techniques for the induction. Okay, we get all that, right? Preparing your environment. Location, location, location. You have learned that overcoming your environment is a critical step in this whole thing, breaking the habit of being yourself. So therefore, finding the right environment in which to meditate, one with a minimum of distractions, it will really give you a leg up on defeating that first big 3 thing of overcoming the body, time. What's the other one? The mind. Okay. Pick a comfortable, we'll cover the other 2, the body and time, in a moment. Pick a comfortable place where you can be alone and not be seduced by the addiction of the external world. Make it secluded, private, easily accessible. Go to this place every day and make it your special location. You will form a strong connection with this setting. It will represent where you frequent to tame the distracted ego, to overcome the old self and to create a new self and forge a new destiny. In time, you will truly look forward to being there. A participant in one event I led told me that she always falls asleep when she meditated. Our conversation went like this: where do you practice your mindfulness training? In bed. What does the law of association say about your bed and sleep? I associate my bed with sleep. What does the law of repetition demonstrate about sleeping in your bed every night? If I sleep in the same place nightly, I'm hardwiring an association of bed with sleep. Given the fact that neural networks are formed by combining the law of association with the law of repetition, might you have formed a neural network to the effect that bed means sleep? And since neural networks are automatic programs that we are unconsciously using every day, does it stand to reason that when you are on your bed, your body, as the mind, will tell you to automatically and unconsciously fall into oblivion? Yep, I guess I need a better place to meditate. Not only did I suggest that she stay out of bed when she meditates, but that she find a different place separate even from her bedroom. When you want to build a new neural network, it makes good sense to do your mindfulness practices in a setting that represents growth, regeneration, and a new future. And please do not see this location as a torture chamber in which you have to go meditate. This type of attitude will definitely undermine your efforts. Preventing distractions from your environment. Make sure that you won't be interrupted or distracted by people. A do not disturb sign can help. Haha, everybody laughs with kids or pets even. Come on, like your pet or your child is going to read a do not disturb sign. As much as possible, eliminate sensory stimuli that could force your mind back to your old personality or to awareness of the external world, especially to elements of your familiar environment. Turn off your phone, turn your computer off. It's hard, but everything can wait. You also don't want the aroma of coffee brewing or food cooking because you don't want something to pull you back in. And also, he says he uses a blindfold and he makes sure that there's comfortable temperature, no drafts. Music can be useful as long as you don't play selections that will bring to mind distracting associations. If I play music, I typically use soft, relaxing, trance-inducing instrumentals or chants without lyrics. When not listening to music, I often put in earplugs. Preparing your body. Position, position, position. I sit up very straight. My back is totally vertical. My neck is erect. My arms and legs are resting, poised, and still. And my body is relaxed. What about using a recliner? Just as with sitting in bed, many people fall asleep in recliners. Sitting upright in a regular chair, limbs uncrossed, is best. If you prefer to sit on the ground and cross your legs Indian style, that's fine too. Preventing bodily distractions. In effect, you want to put the body away so that you can focus without needing to pay attention to it. For example, use the restroom, dress in loose clothes, remove your watch, drink some water, have more within reach, take care of any hunger pangs before you begin. Like, go into it being ready to like submit some time to the thing. Head nodding versus nodding off. Since we're talking about the body, let me address an issue that may come up in your own meditation practice. Although you are sitting upright, you may find your head nodding as you're about to fall asleep. This is a good sign. Oh, okay, sorry. Let me say that. As though you are about to fall asleep. So like it kind of just starts doing that, like as if you are falling asleep, but you're not really. It's a good sign. You're moving into the alpha and theta brainwave states. Your body is used to lying down when your brain waves slow down. When you suddenly nod like this, your body wants to doze off. And with continued practice, you'll become accustomed to your brain slowing down while you sit upright. The head nodding will eventually stop and your body won't tend to fall asleep. Making time to meditate. When to meditate. As you know, daily changes in brain chemistry result in easier access to the subconscious mind just after you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. These are the best times to meditate because you can more readily slip into the alpha or theta states. I prefer to meditate around the same time every morning. If you are really enthusiastic and would like to meditate at both of these times of days, go for it. However, I suggest folks start out doing once daily. How long to meditate? Take a few minutes before each day's meditation session to review any writing that you've done in connection with the steps that you are about to practice. As I said, think of these notes as your roadmap to the journey you are about to take. You may also find it helpful to reread portions of the text to remind you of what you're about to do before you go into meditation. Mediation, maybe it's both. While you're learning the process, every session will start with 10 to 20 minutes for induction. As you add steps, your time frame should lengthen by about 10 to 15 minutes per step. Over time, you will move more rapidly through the steps, which you are already familiar with. By the time you learn how to do all of those in the process, your daily meditation, including the induction, will generally take 40 to 50 minutes. That seems feasible, worthwhile, doable. If you need to finish by a certain time, set a timer to go off 10 minutes before you must end your session. That will give you a heads up to complete the session rather than having to stop abruptly without bringing what you were doing to a close. And set aside enough time to meditate so that your clock doesn't become a concern. After all, if you're meditating and you find yourself thinking about your watch, you have not overcome time. Essentially, you may have to wake up earlier or go to bed later in order to carve out a slot in your day. Preparing your state of mind, mastering the ego. To be honest, I do have those days where I battle my ego tooth and nail, since it wants to be in control. Some mornings as I begin the process, my analytical mind starts thinking about flights to catch, meetings with staff, injured people. He's a doctor, so patients, reports, articles that need to be written, all the things. He's obsessing about every predictable external life. Everything predictable in the external life. Typically, my mind, like most people's, is either anticipating the future or remembering the past. Man, isn't that the worst? And when that occurs, I have to settle down and realize that those are all known associations that have nothing to do with creating something new in this present moment. If this happens to you, it is your job to go beyond the tedium of normal thinking and enter into the creative moment. And quite frankly, it is so liberating when you learn how to do this, because it's an actual tool that allows you to escape that egoic control freak mentality. And it's like, oh, okay, ego, you want to control something? We're going to go meditate and we're going to dream up this amazing, beautiful new future. And for me, it actually becomes this freeing and liberating solution that I get to give myself and give my ego. Because like my ego's all future tripping or past tripping or whatever. And I get to be like, okay, you're freaked out about this. I know how effective it is to go and meditate something into existence. So I'm going to go do that. And like, and then I've surrendered it. And now I'm free from the freaking exhaustion of just running, whatever the narrative is. Okay, mastering the body. If your body bucks like an unbridled stallion because it wants to be the mind to get up and do something, or to think about some place that it has to go in the future, or remember a past emotional experience with some person in your life, you must settle it down into the present moment and relax it. Every time you do, you are reconditioning your body to a new mind. In time, it will acquiesce. It was conditioned by an unconscious mind, and it has to be retrained by you. So love it, work with it, be kind to it. It will ultimately surrender to you as its master. Remember to be determined, persistent, excited, joyful, flexible, and inspired. When you do so, you are reaching for the hand of the divine. Okay, he says, let's begin. So what does that mean? That might mean I'm stopping this here and we're going to be on to the next one in the next video. Chapter 10, open the door to your creative state, week 1. Where are we in our time right now? Okay, I'm going to end this one here and pick up on this one the next time. So be blessed, be well, be free, and let's do this thing.